Good morning, Palas. My name is Mendel Merlan, your reporter for today. Today, I discuss to you the different terms of specialized investigation in legal medicine. Okay, let's start. What is rape? It is a severe form of sexual assault that involves non-consensual sexual penetration or intercourse. It is a violent and traumatic act that violates a person's autonomy, dignity, and right to bodily integrity. Rape can occur in various contexts such as within relationships, by acquaintances, strangers, or even by multiple perpetrators. Okay, second, what is robbery? It refers to a criminal act in which someone unlawfully takes or attempts to take another person's property, possessions, or asset by force, threat, or intimidation. Robbery is considered as a serious offense and is punishable by law in most jurisdictions. Robbery can vary depending on the circumstances and individual involved. It is the motive behind the robbery is to obtain valuable items or money quickly and unlawfully. Robberies can occur in various settings such as homes, business, banks, public places, and they can be committed by individuals or organized groups. Robbery typically involves a direct confrontation between the offender and the victim. The perpetrator may use weapons, physical force, or the threat of violence to coerce the victim into surrendering their belongings. The stolen property can include money, personal belongings, valuable items, or any other item of worth. Okay, third, what is theft? Theft refers to the act of unlawfully taking or appropriating someone else's property or belongings without their permissions. It involves the intentional deprivation of another person's possessions with the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive them of their ownership rights. There are key elements of theft include the unlawful taking, lack of consent, and intent. What is unlawful taking? It is the act of taking or removing another person's property without legal authorizations or jurisdiction. Second, lack of consent. The property is taken without the owner's consent. If the owner willingly gives permission or for someone to take their property does not constitute theft. Third and last, intent. The individual committing theft must have the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive the owner of their property. It means they either plan to keep the property for themselves or intend to return it at their discretion. Fourth, what is murder? Murder, it refers to the intentional and unlawful killing of another person with malice aforethought. It involves a deliberate act of causing death with the intent to cause serious harm to take a life. Murder is generally considered the most severe form of homicide. There are key elements of murder, include unlawful act, intent, and causation. What is the unlawful act? It is the killing must be against the law, meaning it is not justified or legally authorized, such as in cases of self-defense or during armed conflicts. Intent. The persons committing the act of must have the intention to cause the death of another person. This intent can be expressed or implied, and it may include situations where the persons intended to cause serious bodily harm to ultimately lead to victim's death. Causation. The actions of perpetrator must be direct cause of the victim. This means that there must be causal link between the actions of the cause and the resulting death. What is homicide? Homicide is a broad legal term that encompasses any act of causing the death of another person regardless of the intent or circumstances. It refers to the killing of a human being by another human being. Homicide can include both lawful acts such as cases of self-defense or justifiable killing, as well as unlawful acts like murder and manslaughter. It is often further classified into different categories or degrees to distinguish between various circumstances and levels of culpability. The specific classification and terminology used may vary between jurisdictions, but some common distinctions include murder, manslaughter, and justifiable homicide. What is murder? The intentional and unlawfully killing of another person with malice aforethought. Murder typically involves the intent to cause of death or serious bodily harm. Manslaughter, the unlawfully killing of another person but without the malice aforethought present in murder. Manslaughter can be further divided into two main categories: voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary manslaughter, the intentional killing of another person but under mitigating circumstances that can include provocation, heat of passion, or imperfect self-defense. Involuntary manslaughter, the unintentional killing of another person due to reckless or negligent behavior. It may involve action that disregard the safety of others or a failure to exercise reasonable care. Justifiable homicide, homicide that is considered legally justified or permissible under specific circumstances such as self-defense or defense of others. In this case, the killing is deemed necessary to protect oneself or others from imminent danger. So, what is intentional abortion? Intentional abortion refers to the termination of pregnancy by choice, typically through medical procedures or the use of medications. It involves the deliberate and voluntary removal or expulsion of any embryo or fetus from the uterus before it can be survived independently outside the womb. There are elements of intentional abortion. First, there is a pregnant women. And second, that violence exerted or drugs or beverages administered by, or that the accused otherwise acts upon such as pregnant women. Third, that a result of the use of violence or drugs or beverages upon her or any other act of accused, the fetus dies either in the womb or having been expelled therefore. And fourth, that abortion is intended. So, what is an unintentional abortion? May be committed through negligence as it is enough that the use of violence is voluntary. If the act of violence is not felonious, that is act of self-defense, and there is no knowledge of the woman's pregnancy, there is no liability. If the act of the violence is not felonious, but there is knowledge of the woman's pregnancy, the offender is liable for unintentional abortion. There are elements of unintentional abortion. First, there are pregnant women. Second, that is a violence used upon such pregnant women without intending an abortion. Third, that the violence is intentional exerted. And the last, that as a result of the violence, the fetus dies either in the womb or after being expelled therefore. So, what is kidnapping? Kidnapping is a serious criminal offense that involves unlawfully taking or confining another person against their will, usually with the intent to hold them for ransom, coerce them, or commit other illegal acts. Kidnapping is a universally condemned and is considered a serious crime in most jurisdictions around the world. Laws regarding kidnapping vary by country, but it's generally punishable by imprisonment and other legal penalties. Law enforcement agencies, specialized units, often dedicate significant resources and expertise to investigate cases of kidnapping and ensure the safe recovery of victims. Anti-Fencing Law of 1972. The term anti-law refers to a legalization of criminalize the act of fencing stolen goods. Fencing refers to the act of knowingly buying, receiving, or possessing stolen property with the intention or selling or disposing of it. The anti-fencing law aimed to deter individuals from participating in legal market for stolen goods and disrupt the cycle of theft and resale. Anti-fencing law vary by jurisdiction, but they generally make it legal to possess, buy, sell, or otherwise deal with a stolen property. The laws typically target individuals knowingly engaged in the trade of stolen goods rather than those who may have unknowingly purchased stolen items. What is human trafficking? Human trafficking refers to the legal trade and exploitations of human beings for various purposes such as forced labor, exploitation, organs harvesting, or other forms of exploitation. It is a serious violation of human rights and is considered a modern-day form of slavery. Human trafficking involves the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, and receipt of individuals through force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of exploitation. Victims of trafficking are often subjected to physical and psychological abuse, deprivation of basic rights, and manipulation by traffickers. The Anti-Cattle Rustling Law of 1974. Cattle rustling is the taking away by means, method, or scheme without any consent of the owner or raiser of any of the above-mentioned animals, whether or not for profit or gain, or whether committed with or without violence against or intimidation of any person or force upon things. For example, intense political rivalries sometimes result in cattle rustling after elections, whereby cattle raids are directed against the communities of winning political leaders to show ineffective governance and control of the area. Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act of 3019. It shall be unlawful for any person having family or close personal relation with any public official to capitalize or exploit or take advantage of such families or close personal relation by directly or indirectly requesting or receiving any present, gift, or material or advantage from any other person. For example, if a government official awards a contract to a private company without following the proper bidding process, and it is found that the official received kickbacks or benefits in return. And last, Republic Act Number 8793, Electronic Commerce Act. E-commerce law refers to the legal framework that governs electronic commerce, which involves the buying and selling. These acts aim to facilitate domestic and international dealings, transaction arrangements, construct and exchange and storage of information through the utilization of electronic, optical, and similar medium, mode, instrumentality, and technology to recognize the authenticity and reliability of electronic documents related to such activities, and to promote the universal use of electronic transaction in the government and the general public. That would be all. Thank you.